friends, it's Marissa, MKissa Creations here and on Instagram. I am also surfandsew.me on Instagram. Thank you to those of you who have followed me on both. I really appreciate that, and thank you for joining me here. I know you have a lot of choices of who to follow on Flosstube, and there's a lot of really great content creators and videos out there. So thank you for coming to my little slice of Flosstube. I am fighting with a ring light currently, and I was hoping to have it on, but I guess it's not. It doesn't want to be on today. So I guess we're just not going to have that extra light. That's going to be okay. All right. Today is Sunday, February 18th. This is Flosstube number 22. Flosstube is the little corner of YouTube that is primarily about cross stitch. My channel is definitely primarily about cross stitch. I do other crafts, but they haven't been popping up as much lately. Little bit about that. So I wanted to thank you all because I finally got consistently over 1,000 subscribers. I was like very much doing the like wiggle woggle up and down on my subscriber counts, which is like hard to look at, but also like everybody has their own thing. Watch what you like. You don't need to stick around and be subscribed to somebody that you don't care about or don't enjoy watching. So thank you to those of you who have stuck around and enjoy watching me. I enjoy having you here. But yeah, I finally made it over 1,000. It took me a really long time. I've been making videos for a really long time though, and my channel has been kind of like inconsistent, and so I think the algorithm doesn't like me as much, or people don't like me as much, but either way it's fine. I'm over 40 now, so I'm not as worried about what other people think about me, but I would like for the algorithm to decide that I'm now being consistent and can show me to some more people. I appreciate those of you that are here though. Thank you so much for joining and watching. Like I said, I know there's so much Flosstube out there right now, and it is awesome that you're spending some time with me for it. So I appreciate that. I have a little something for you at the end of the video. I'll do it when I kind of go through my haul because I got something that I wanted to pass along. But yeah, so welcome. I also, because I am now at 1,000 subscribers, and I gained that fairly quickly. I went from like 700 to over 1,000 pretty quick. So I wanted to do a little introduction and let you kind of know how I got here and why I am here on Flosstube. So I started stitching in 2015, the very end of 2015 or the very beginning of 2016. I had my daughter, my first daughter, in August of 2015. And in the beginning, I was like, this newborn stage is great. I'm a quilter and a crocheter, and I was like, I would put her down for a nap. I would go put a thing of laundry in, and then I would get out all my quilting stuff and I would get stuff done. She'd wake up, I'd feed her, I'd do tummy time, and we'd play a little bit, and then she'd be tired again. I'd put her back down, and then I'd continue with the quilting stuff. Then she got mobile and also didn't need as much sleep. And so if I got all my quilting stuff out, I had to put it away in between. And I started getting frustrated that I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And so that wasn't fair to her for me to be frustrated that I wasn't getting my way. It was definitely my transition into being a mom, of like really realizing that like your life doesn't revolve around you anymore. It revolves around the small people that you're trying to keep alive and take good care of and raise to be good humans. So my crafting really went to the wayside, but I was really missing it. And then I had a really good crafty friend of mine post about a frosted pumpkin stitch along, and I hadn't cross stitched. I hadn't ever really picked it up, and I saw the what was it called? Pumpkin Passport. It's the one that says like, let's go on an adventure. I showed it in a video not too long ago because I was going over my finishes that haven't been fully finished yet. But that was the piece that got me going. And I loved cross stitch because I could pick it up and get some progress made. And then if a kid woke up, I could put it in its project bag and put it away, and I didn't have to worry about where I was or what I was doing or what step I was on, or I just need to finish this one more chain, or I just need to finish this one more block. And I wasn't frustrated when I had to put it away. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna put this away and I can get it out later and do some more. And so that was really what got me cross stitching in the beginning. And I love it so much, and I love the community that came with it. And that was really, I think, right when Flosstube was really starting. And so I did do some videos way back then. They're gone from my channel now, and that also might be why the YouTube algorithm doesn't like me, because once upon a time I had a bunch of videos up and then just like wiped them all out. So this is my new iteration of it. Like I said, I'm on video 22 now, and we're just in a different season of life, and those old videos were also a little bit about me when I was in California, and now I live in Maine. So we moved to Maine in 2018 in the fall, and we have been here ever since. And I absolutely adore it here. And if you go back to some of my older videos, you'll see like my Maine things, and people still giggle about them. But I will tell you that every year, my husband and I will still panic at least one time that our toilet is leaking, because there will be water on the floor around our toilet. And in the summer, especially in the early summer, it's not because our toilet is leaking, it's because our toilet is sweating. The water that comes out of the ground here is so cold that it is like having an iced coffee in your bathroom that just sweats on the outside. And so you end up like with a puddle of water on the floor. Like for a while we were like, oh my gosh, one of the kids had an accident and didn't tell us. They completely missed the toilet. Like, it was bad. And so I tend to get good giggles out of people that are like from here and have experienced that. But some kid like me who grew up in Southern California and never really like stayed overnight, even in like the mountains or anything, like we would just go up to the mountains for the day. So I never lived anywhere where it was cold and snowy. And so make fun of me if you will, but that will still shock me every year when there's a big puddle of water on the floor in our bathroom, and it's because our toilet is sweating. It's just how it is. There's a couple other things. This was the first winter that I didn't get jolted out of bed by the snowplow thinking that we were having an earthquake, because the snowplow drops its plow like right at the corner of our street, which is very close to our house. And the first snow of every year I would like wake up like thinking that I needed to jump out of bed because we were having an earthquake, and it was like that same feeling. And I don't do that anymore. This was the first year I didn't do that. So that was kind of an exciting step in the main direction away from California. But yeah, it's been fun living here, and I love my Maine stitchers. I talk about them a lot, but we've got quite a little stitchy contingency up here, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And yeah, I think that's probably like enough introduction for now. I have another little like educational session for you further down the line, but let's talk about some stitching because we're 8 minutes in and it's time for stitching. So what have I been working on since I last saw you? I'm going to talk about my whips. Those are works in progress. Those are our projects that we currently have going. My whip list currently is at 27. I started 2024 with 24 whips and plans for 24 new starts in 2024. Some other people that are doing that, there is a hashtag on Instagram. I know Chris Cross Stitch is doing them. I know Pam from Pam and Steph is doing them, and it may have originated with her. I believe that it did. And then Stephanie and Allison, are you both doing it? I know Stephanie is, from Cross Stitch the Globe, are doing 24 new starts in 2024. I think it's just Stephanie. I don't think Allison is doing it. But there's a lot of people out there that are doing it. I feel like it's a great excuse to just get stuff out of your kitted area of your house and into your whip area. But also, if that stresses you out and having them as kits doesn't, like, keep doing what you're doing. Not everything works for everybody. I was like, needed to show myself that I also don't need to buy anything new. So it was like, here, you have 24 projects that you can start right now. You don't need to buy anything else. Like, you are set. Please get your things done that you have already. That's for me. It's not for everybody. So, without further ado, since I have a due too long, let's get into it. All right, the thing that I worked on first from when I last saw you, so last video I emptied out all of my Q snaps. I didn't have anything on and I was feeling the push for a Hade and for full coverage, and I did it. So I loaded up Tiki Beach Sunset, and I've worked on it. I worked on it at the very beginning of the month, and then I worked on it a little bit towards this middle of the month time. Overall, I worked on it for 4 days. And I put in 1,733 stitches. I am going to put a picture right here of where it was in the last video. And then I will show you where it is now. So I put in 1,733 stitches. Overall, I am at 12,424 stitches out of 362,408. So I am at 3.43%. I go back and forth on feeling like it is really insignificant every time I put stitches into this, to also being like, all right, I'm making progress. So what did I say? 3.43. So I think the last time I showed it to you, I was at 3.24. So let's see. There we go. There's where we are. So let's see. I had it in my Q-snap like this. So I had like this part cut off. So I filled in a little bit of stuff up here. And then I got all of this, I think this is, what is this? 606. So I did like 400 or 500 stitches of 898 or 989, that brown, which is like boring. And then I needed 520, and it's in another project, and I like couldn't find it. And then I was like, you know what, I really want to get to some color. So I did all of the 606 in this paper lantern right here. And it's getting big enough to that point where you can actually like kind of sit back and look at it, and it looks like stuff. Whereas like when you're stitching on a Hade or a full coverage, you're looking so close at it that it looks like it's a full-on Monet, like Cher said in Clueless, you know. From far away it looks great, but up close it's a big old mess. And I think that's kind of just in general the feeling of the full coverage. It's not max colors, it's just regular. I did see somebody else because like went down a Instagram rabbit hole on, I just like searched the tag for Heaven and Earth designs, because I've just been, like I said, full coverage is pulling me right now, and I don't know. But so I've just been looking. I haven't bought anything. I've been really good, and I've been working on my one that I have. But I don't know. It's just, I just love it so much. I love that I'm starting to be able to see the things, but like this like roof of the little like tiki bar, it's just starting to look so good. It's just, but it's that like far away thing, so good. And then, you know, you're looking at it up close and I'm like, ugh, it's all these like lines and dots. But when I hold it far away, like I really see the picture, the original artwork. And the original artwork is Amy Stewart. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. But yeah, it's going good. It's going right back in the Q-snap. It's probably going to be my project tonight that I work on. So it hasn't snowed yet today. It snowed yesterday, but we were busy, and so I didn't work on my snow day project. But let's talk about my snow day project, because I did make progress on it. We did have one other day that it snowed. It's kind of been surprise snow lately. It keeps like, it'll say, oh, we're going to get a bunch of snow, and then we don't get snow, and then it won't say snow, and then we get surprise snow. So yesterday we had some surprise snow. Today there were like flurries on the forecast, but then there was no actual flurries that happened. So, all right, so my snow day project is Ink Circles 99. It looks like this. It's 9 shelves of 11 bottles of beer. They're all like real real beer labels. And I got some progress. So I only stitched on it for one day since I've seen you last, but found some 703. I think that was what I was missing. My daughter needed it for a project she was working on too, so I went and bought some. So I have 48 out of the 99 bottles done, which is 3 of the 6 pages, but I wouldn't technically call it halfway because I did one side of the page has 5 bottles on each shelf and one side of the page has 6 bottles on each shelf, and I did the 5 side one and not the 6 side one. So I've got to get a little bit more in for me to officially say that I feel like I'm halfway. But let's see. Here's where that's at. So that's all that I have done so far. So that is the 48 of the 99. So I was really happy to get that progress. So I finished up the bottles that were missing stuff, and then I brought the shelves all the way over and did their little swirly doos that are holding it up. So I'm pretty dang close to halfway, and I will work on this more because I want it done. It's my oldest WIP. It's my snow day project. I don't want it to be my snow day project next year. I want it to be done, and I am pretty determined to be done with it. So that is my progress on my snow day project. Ink Circles 99. That is on Picture This Plus 32 count ale, which is the called for fabric. My Hade is on 25 count Lugana, just plain, not gridded. The way that I stitch, I don't need the gridding. It's like a weird form of cross country. It's not extreme cross country. It's like in the Q-snap cross country, and also it's what I choose it to be. I used to go from like a corner out. Now I'm just like, I just want to work on this part. I'm going to work on this part, and I'm going to put as many strands as I want into that. Or sometimes, like with the 989 or the 898, I forget which one it is, I just did like the full, like, so I'm stitching it 1/1 full cross. I just did like all 6 strands. I put all of them into it because I didn't want to like roll, like put one strand back onto my bobbin. So I did all the strands and then left it at that. Oh my gosh, I forgot to get one out. The one that I worked on the most. Oof, I just dropped all of the floss ring for it. The other thing that I worked on a lot was the Witchy Stitchers Cryptid Sal. This was WIP Go for me this month. Oh, I still haven't looked up what fabric this is. And I thought that it was, Forbidden Fiber Company, but I don't think it is. I think it actually might be Color and Cotton. I have to look it up, and it's probably from a special thing because I don't think I've ever been part of their floss club, so it's probably from like a box. I don't know. It's like a neutral with like pinkish purple like wine stains on it, kind of. But anyways, and it's 32 count, and I worked in this bottom corner. So I did the Ao and Nessie, and I changed her name, and I changed down here. So it was originally charted with 2 different versions. One was Loch Ness, all one word. One was Loch Ness with a space. But she's like the Loch Ness monster. I feel like Loch Ness didn't really make sense. So I just did Nessie, and then I added like some little extra things. And one of them is off, and it's not even like in the right like set of 2 stitches, and it's just fine. No, I know that. I did all of this border as well, so all of this part of the border, and then these 2 blocks. That border, I forgot, is a beast and a floss eater, because this is 2/2. And holy cow, I think with what I stitched, like just, so I stitched like that, all of that. That took almost a whole skein of DMC 310. I think I have like 2 of my lengths, which are pretty long. My friends make fun of me because I'm like that Freddie Mercury like stitcher that has like the thing pulled way out. When that made the rounds the first time, it got sent to me a lot. Because that's me. It's like a big, giant, long thing of floss. I don't want to change my, I hate changing it. Like, just let me stitch the big, giant, long strand. But, so yeah, this is a floss eater. My WIPCO goal is to finish this. I don't have to accomplish my goals in the month that they are called, is part of my WIPCO rules for myself. So, I don't know if it's going to get picked back up this month because I haven't worked on my other WIPCO project this month. And so I need to do that before I think I pick this one back up. But I did have a lot of fun stitching on it. I also think I might have not downloaded some of the charts that I needed. I know I have the last one, which is like an option of 3 different ones that goes right here. But I don't know because I think it's 5 more charts, and I don't know if I have all 5. So that will be fun. But here is this one, what I have completed. So we're getting there. I will see if I can find, and go back to like an old Instagram post and see if I can find this color, and then I'll post it like what the fabric is so that you can actually know, instead of me just being like, I think it maybe is this. Another cool thing that I worked on, and that leads me to another story. Okay, so another cool thing that I did this last month, my office mate at work, I go in 2 days a week. I work from home most days, but 2 days a week I go in, and my office mate also cross stitches, and it's a newer hobby for her, but she was like, hey, we should do some wellness like stuff for our department, and wouldn't it be fun to host like a cross stitch thing? So we decided not to like nail it down to cross stitch, and then you can't call it a stitchin' bitch at work. So we are doing wellness crafternoons, and we had our first wellness crafternoon. We had 2 cross stitchers, a knitter, somebody that I taught to cross stitch, which was really fun. I brought some like white Aida and printed out some simple like freebie patterns that would be easy to stitch on. And then one of our other program managers, he has been saving candy wrappers and has been making them into a ball. So now he's like only like the foil ones, only foil wrappers. And he has been like, so his ball is like this big now. It's so heavy, and he like glues the papers on. It was so great. Having a bunch of people together to do crafts. We had a knitter. I don't know if I mentioned that. But we're really hoping to like expand. We are hosting another one at the end of this month, which I'm really excited for. And I hope we get a little bit better of a turnout. I think there were 6 of us at the last one. So, we do it at like lunchtime. And I would be happy if we did it every single day. But what I worked on, for this session was, my heartstring sampleries, Vias for Valentine. And this was just like a half an hour, or like probably 45 minutes of stitching on a lunch session. But I finished out the V and started with the rest of Valentine. So that I think might get a little bit more work, just because it's small and I can actually, I'm really bad about like actually like, hey, this is small. You could finish this if you actually work on it. Instead, I'm like, let me work on a big giant project that has no end. That sounds like fun. I'm that person. And then, all right, so those were all of my whips, works in progress, except for my new start. My new start, I started Blackbird by Blackbird. This is part of the Magical Mystery Tour series from Blackbird Designs. I am stitching this as part of the Fab Four Friends Sal, or Fab Four Fan Sal, excuse me. That's the hashtag, Fab4FanSal, with Allison and Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe, and Julian Stitches, and then I think there's a lot more people that are also doing it. KBH might be also doing it. I don't know the rest of everyone that is participating in this, but I am participating in it. So on February 13th, I started this. I started this on weathered shingle from R&R, and I am stitching it with Gentle Arts Black Crow, and I am so in love with this floss that I am, I've had various colors of hair in the past, including like Fire Engine Red, and I got married with hair that was black and purple. And I kind of want to bring this floss to my hairdresser and be like, can you do this to my hair? I've been like researching our work dress code to see if I can get away with it. I mean, I think I can because my hair is dark naturally. But this is the Gentle Arts Black Crow on R&R. Like I said, weathered shingle. It's a 36 count, so I'm stitching it 1/2, and that is where I've gotten. So hopefully this one should be one that I can definitely finish up before I put it away. I'm really trying to not take it out of this Q-snap so that I can like actually make myself pick it up and do it. And I really need more Q-snaps. I keep like saying that. I just need to go pull the trigger. I like forget until I desperately want to work on something new and not take a project out. But alas, this is where we are. Okay. Those are all of my works in progress. I want to show you some things, and I want to tell you about maple syrup, and I want to give something to you. So we're going to do those things. All right, let's first talk about maple syrup. I am coming to you on a Sunday because I did not film yesterday, because yesterday I was in my backyard boiling sap down to syrup for 6 hours or so. And then I was in my kitchen cooking dinner and boiling the sap down the rest of the way. So I want to share a little bit about maple syrup and sugaring season and how that works. If you're not interested, skip forward a little bit and we'll get to the little bit of haul and the giveaway that I have for you. But stay with me, learn something. So we have a large maple tree in our front yard. It is not a sugar maple. Sugar maples are like those tall, skinny maple trees that you see that typically have taps on them, and on the like larger properties that people just like massive production of maple syrup. We have a tree that has a very large diameter. I would say at least 2 feet. Over 18 inches is what you can use to get more than one tap in it. We are definitely past that. So we have 3 taps in our one tree. We, the first year we did 1 tap, and we did it into like the bucket, like the typical like metal bucket that you see with like the cool lid on it. And it looks really awesome on your tree when you're doing that, especially because our tree's in our front yard. But it's not really that efficient, and you have to empty that bucket out a lot. I think those buckets are typically like 2-ish gallons. And on a really amazing run week, that can fill really quickly. So what we switched to is a like lines. So there are blue tubes, and they all connect to one tube that goes into a 5-gallon food grade bucket. It has the twist tops on it. That it's called a gamma top. If you're into like food preservation of any kind, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's a top that you push onto a 5-gallon bucket, like those big buckets that you get at like Home Depot or whatever. But this is a food grade one, so like a pickle bucket, I guess it can also be called. But you like put an outer thing onto that, and then there's an inner ring that screws off, so you don't have to deal with like those bucket tops. Like, I don't know if you've ever opened a huge thing of the paint like that, but they're hard to get on and off. So the gamma top really helps with that because it's just a twisting motion. So what we did was we drilled a hole into one of our gamma tops that's the same size as our tubing. And our tubing goes into that. And then if we have to change out our bucket, we just put another bucket on and use the same gamma top that already has the hole drilled in it. And so we just like kind of filter those through. So for maple sap to run in your tree, it has to be, or ideal conditions are still below freezing at night and above freezing during the day. And the above freezing during the day, it's super helpful if it's sunny, which like right now it's 33 degrees. I am so hoping that our lines defrost right now while this is happening, so we can at least get a little bit this week. We got 10 gallons of sap on our first week, which is a great run. Once you tap your trees, you get 4 weeks, if that. If the trees start to bud, you're done. And once you hit the 4 weeks, you're done. So what the weather does from when you tap until that 4 weeks hits, you're kind of at the mercy of, and that's sort of how you decide when you're going to tap your tree or not. So we tapped our tree earlier this year than last year, and last year we tapped our tree early too. So our tree has been tapped since it's been since last Thursday, so it was like a week and a half we're at now. We boiled down almost 10 gallons yesterday. That gave us about a quart of syrup is what we ended up with. It's really good. It is on the lighter, so the first runs are usually on the lighter side and a little bit more watery, even when you boil to the 219 degrees that you're supposed to get it to be syrup. If you go further, you can get into like candy and like maple sugar, because you take more and more water out of it. So what we do is we boil it outside. You can boil the whole time in your house. Highly, highly not recommended. So what we do is we boil outside on our fire pit, and I'll probably insert some pictures of our like tiny operation, just so you can kind of see what it looks like for a family that just gets probably like half of the syrup that we need for the year from our own tree. But just so you can kind of get a glimpse into that world.
It's coming! It's coming! Got me a tap and
Sit outside and we boil our sap down to a manageable amount to bring inside. Or when the sun goes down. So we had a lot of frozen sap this time around, so it took a little bit longer for us to boil it down to that manageable amount. But we got it down right at dark to about 6 quarts. So I started with 6 quarts on my stove and boiled that down to 1 quart. So where does all the volume go? So it evaporates, but you know, it doesn't evaporate just like into the air and completely disappear. So the reason that we don't do this all out inside is because even with those 6 quarts going down to 1 quart, I'm like constantly like wiping down our cabinetry and our like fan, like where our vent fan is. Like it will drip, like the condensation from the steam going up, the evaporation will drip back down on you if you're not careful. And even with like windows open, we still, like at our front door, on our door jamb, like on top of it, I had to wipe that down. Like there was still like, you literally, it's the most humid situation that you can like create for yourself in your kitchen. So anyways, we don't tend to boil. We try to boil as much as we can outside. If I can get it down even lower outside, like I would transfer to a smaller container and continue outside if it was still light out. But we've never been able to get our act together to be done enough to stay out there longer than we usually do. So we kind of, I guess, need to like figure our ish out when it comes to that. But yeah, so I'll put in a couple pictures right here. Again, if you're interested at all, like this is the kind of stuff that I do on my surfandsew.me Instagram channel or Instagram handle. I post all of these goodies. I try to keep MKiza Creations very stitchy and crafty centered to not clog that up. But I like to intersperse it here into YouTube when I get the chance. So if you're not interested in that, I'm sorry, and I hoped you skipped ahead and found what you were looking for later, but apologies if you aren't interested in that, but I am, and it's such a fun part of living here. All right, so another thing that is really cool, and I don't know if you know this or not, but there is a like nationwide, I believe, Facebook groups. They're called Buy Nothing. So you can, if you search on Facebook, Buy Nothing, and then your town, you should be able to come up with a Facebook group where people post stuff that they are in search of, that they are gifting, or what is the other thing that they post ours? Or like if you're looking for something that you need that you wouldn't mind having as like a hand-me-down or something that someone's not using anymore, or if you have something that you're giving away that anybody's not using for. So like I have a microwave that I need to put on our local Buy Nothing group because I haven't used it in months. It's in or years, and it's in our basement, just like taking up space. Why do I need this microwave if I'm never going to use a microwave? So anyways, there's these Buy Nothing groups, and our town actually has like split their Buy Nothing group into like east and west parts of the town, because our town is large and part of it is very populated and part of it is not as populated. So they kind of drew a line through it because it was getting a little out of hand, which is nice because that means just a lot of people locally are into giving stuff away when they don't need it anymore. So I belong to that group, and last week or the week before, somebody posted, they're like, I have a bunch of this cross-stitch stuff if anybody wants it. And a lot of times when stuff's like really amazing, people, you know, jump on it very quickly, and a lot of people will like wait and draw names if there's a lot of interest in their item, rather than like giving it to the first person that was like sitting on the internet at that time and was able to say me please. So they'll like post it in the summertime. Like I will post my sage. I have a sage plant that is like wildly out of hand every year, and so I will like make giant like trimmings and put them in like glass jars and then put them out on my street and say, you know, here I live on this street, come and grab some sage if you want some sage. That's an example of what I put in there. Phone cases that you don't need anymore, an old microwave, things like that. So anyways, somebody posted all of this cross-stitch gold, and it like didn't really get a response right away because we're still the minority of crafters apparently. But I got this like giant gift bag of stuff, and then when I told her that I was, you know, teaching my daughters how to cross stitch, and that, like, you know, it's great to have stuff to practice for, she was like, oh, I might have more, I will let you know. So if that happens, I will be so excited. But I am extremely grateful for what I got. I'm not going to go through all of this, although I might do like a Flosstube extra and go through it, because it's all really old magazines and old charts. But there are some, there's like a Lighthouse series in here that are really awesome, that like went across a couple of issues and a couple of other things. But y'all, friends, so if you watched my last video, I was talking about the Runner Stitchers sweatshirts and how much fun it would be to get some waste canvas and do the blue bowed geese on a sweatshirt. So two things happened. One of the things that was in that bag of goodies, waste canvas. So I have some waste canvas. And I was like, that's so cool. How cool would it be if there was a blue bowed geese pattern in one of these magazines? You know where this is going, right? So I notice that there are 2 copies of this magazine. This is Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, March, April, 1988. Prime blue bowed goose time. So I have 2 of these. This is the giveaway, because in here is this perfect little line of blue bowed geese. So if you would like to stitch the blue bowed geese with me, please let me know, and I will send you this copy. See, this is mine, this will be yours, of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts from March, April 1988, and we can stitch the blue bowed geese. Mine are going on a sweatshirt with my new waste canvas that I got serendipitously after I mentioned that. I'm like, what else should I mention in my Flosstube video to make it come to me? Just kidding. That's not how the world works. But I was really excited when I found that. And I also mentioned, and but okay, so if you want to stitch the blue bowed geese with me, please let me know that you want to stitch the blue bowed geese. Please don't say giveaway. Please don't say win. Please be over 18, because I'm going to have to ask you for your address so that I can send it to you. I'm going to send it in a manila envelope. It will come to you, hopefully. It's not replaceable. Obviously, it's an old magazine. I'm not going to send you mine because I want to stitch the blue bowed geese. So I'm sorry if the Postal Service lags on us in this situation, but that's the deal with the shipping of prices. It's just how it is. I will send you, if I have a tracking number, I will send you that for it. It should come with a tracking number when it's that large, but I will get that to you as best I can. Please, US only. I'm so sorry. I just cannot afford at this time to send internationally. Maybe after, if and when I get monetized, then we might go that way. But right now, I'm not in that world yet. And so, it's going to have to be local. But I also mentioned when I was talking about the blue geese that my mother-in-law had handed me down a cross stitch, a blue bowed geese cross stitch, goose. It's a singular. It's a one. It's not a lot. But here is my blue bowed goose. Isn't she cute? So this was a Christmas gift to my mother-in-law from my great aunt-in-law, who is currently 102. Actually, I believe that Aunt Rita just had a birthday in January. And I think she turned 102 in January. But so she was a pretty avid cross stitcher. My mother-in-law has a Roadrunner that she stitched in her living room. They live in the desert, and so in Arizona, and they have Roadrunners, and so she has a Roadrunner on her wall that Aunt Rita also stitched. But now I own a piece of Aunt Rita's stitching, and Aunt Rita owns a piece of my stitching. I made her a Christmas ornament. I think I made everybody ornaments like 2 or 3 years ago. So she received one from us during that time. And yeah, so I love that I have a piece of her stitching and we cross our X's the same way. I feel like that's so silly, but it makes my heart so happy. So Aunt Rita and I cross our X's the same way, and her blue-bowed goose now lives at my house, and I'm gonna make a sweatshirt with blue-bowed geese on it. So that's the blue-bowed goose. That concludes the blue-bowed goose portion of today's Flosstube episode. And I think that's really all I have for you today. Just kind of as a reminder, not that you need one or care, but so my other stitches that I need to work on this month at least once. I do want to get this started. Luminous Fiber Arts, So Tweet. Oh, Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, mentioned that she might be interested in also stitching this. I think she has it. So maybe we need to come up with a SAL. I don't know however many else of you have this chart that you haven't started yet. But if you do and are interested in selling it, and this SAL will be a start along. I'm not going to burn through this pattern, although it's not big, but I have so much else to work on that I most likely will start the border and get that like tomato done, and then probably be like, I am stopping now. And then the other thing that I need to stitch on, and I don't have this in like a good way, is the Shores of Hawthorne Hollow. That was my other Wibco call for this month. So I am going to try to get that goal actually completed, because it's just to finish the first box, and really it's been going for way too long for me to not have that first box finished. So it's definitely time for that. So again, I'm going to try to wrap this up and not languish here on the ending and my saying of goodbye. But please, I hope you like and subscribe. And if you want to stitch the blue-bowed geese with me, let me know. And I will pick a winner for my next video. And I hope you all have a great stitchy week. I will see you again in 2 to 3 weeks-ish is about what I'm trying to get in. We will do a February wrap-up and then some March plans. I will probably for sure not film until after at least Jessie calls the next Wibco numbers, so I can kind of get all of that in order and show you what my new goals are going to be for March. And yeah, oh, I do want to show you one last thing. Sorry. My tracker from, oh gosh, I forget who it's from. She actually has designs coming out from Market this year. I'll put it in the thing. But I figured out what I was going to do. So the months that are like shorter, I blacked out those X's. So it's still different on the days that I've missed entirely. They're empty. And then the days that don't exist are black. All right. That's it. I don't have anything else. There is no more. I will see you in a couple of weeks, and a couple to a few. And yeah, happy stitching and have a great week, great weeks. And I will talk to you later. Bye.